Hello, everyone, and welcome to Legend of the Stoned Owl. My name is Chris.
I'm Justin.
And I'm Alan.
Legend of the Stoned Owl is our show right here at Jupiter Broadcasting, all about the passion for the video games. We've got a lot of stuff coming up in this week's episode. Some cool commentary on the Valve stuff. The Halo Reach multiplayer information is out, including a nice-looking trailer. Of course, we've got to talk a little Infinity Ward versus Activision. And then we'll get into a preview segment of Metro 2033, followed, and we're all super excited about this, our favorite video games of all time. We're each going to do 5 favorite video games, give out a few honorable mentions, and then we're hoping maybe some people in the chat room, once we get to that segment, will give us some of their favorite video games of all time that we can give honorable mentions to at the end of the show. Cool?
I like it.
All right, dudes. Well, let's get into the news segment. And welcome to the Legend of Stoned Owls news segment. We've got kind of a best of news segment that we do here on the show. We figure you can get the news from anyone, so we're going to kind of give you commentary and discussion around the upcoming game. And with that in mind, let's kick off our first news story with this kind of an interesting one. I thought personally, because I was a big Portal fan in the day, Valve has released updates to the current version of Portal that has planted Easter eggs throughout the game that give hints towards the next version of the game, Portal 2, which really up until now, we've almost had no information on. It's like been pretty like, we didn't even know for sure they're even doing a Portal 2, and then until just a little while ago.
Right, it just basically...
Now, it just basically has kind of been recent news now, but okay. What I'm showing right now in the video here is a clip of the radio that is giving out Morse code, which obviously then later translated to more information about the game. People went kind of crazy, people on the Steam forums and things like that started dissecting different codes and found different images and stuff that give clues towards the second version of the game. Now, this is all just stuff that they've recently added into the original game that people have already bought and paid for. This was an update.
Downloadable content.
What do you think of this? What do you think of using downloadable content?
You had to pay for this?
I don't know if it was pay. Oh, let's just say it's free. Just hypothetically. What do you think of downloadable content, free, say it's free, that adds some sort of features to the game, but overall really end up just being advertising for the next title? Like, this is really just a really cool advertising scheme for Portal 2. Do you mind? Now, but remember, essentially, this game is property that you paid for. You went to the store, you paid $60 for the orange box. So they're updating your own stuff you paid for with advertising.
I think as long as you have the option to turn it off, like that thing, if you don't want to hear the Morse code, if you want to play the game in its original format, then that's fine. No worries. That's awesome, especially if it's free. If you're adding this little content that, adds another little level, like say you want to play the game again and, to ramp up for the second one.
Yeah.
But you want, it gives you a little reason. It gives you an extra little playthrough bonus.
A little carrot to go through it again?
Yeah.
What do you think, Justin?
I don't know. I just think it's fine if it's free, especially. I really don't care if they change the game. It doesn't bother me at all.
Yeah. All right, I agree too, actually. I don't have a problem with it either. I think that it's kind of an interesting approach to take, and they've done something original with codes. They give you a real challenge to it.
But I hate Morse codes. I'm sorry.
But you don't have to do it. Somebody else does.
Well, I know, but then it's like, why even bother going through it? I could just, I know the
Because
portal.
It's not all Morse code.
Oh, okay.
There's other hints and stuff. That's just, so there's different puzzles, essentially, and one of the challenges is Morse code. And then another one might be like a code diagram and stuff like that. A math equation or something that you got to do.
See, the thing that my mind immediately jumped to when I heard this was thinking about kind of games you can trade in, that you have the discs of that.
Sure.
If they did that to, a regular game like Grand Theft Auto, and I already traded it in, and I didn't have that game anymore, and they put these new updates in there with those eggs and everything, Easter eggs, and then I can go back and play it and find them. But with the downloadable content, you can have it any time, even if you delete it. So
it's true.
I totally agree with that. I like it.
Well, you're on board with the idea, too, of like the Xbox, next version of the Xbox 3 having all downloadable content only, right?
Yes, a very big fan of that.
You are. Because you like the idea of essentially any new Xbox you plug in, you can re-download your games or something, right?
Yeah, but it's all, that's been the problem with everything so far, right?
Now, do you save your current games to your hard drive?
Oh yeah, yeah. As soon as we get games, we burn them right away. We rip them right away
to the
hard
drive
drive.
on
so
the
that way
360.
Yeah,
Did you get
so
the
that way
120?
we're playing off the drive, not off
faster.
that. Yeah,
It's a lot faster.
Well, it's not noticeable to me. It's not noticeably faster. Like my first playthrough of BioShock, I didn't have it loaded because I just wanted to go in and play and didn't want to waste time.
Yeah.
And the second time, I took the time to burn it, and really, I haven't noticed any difference. The one difference I noticed with every game is that it turns off the fan. You're not running, the disc isn't constantly spinning, so the machine does run quieter.
Oh, that's good reason right there.
Yeah. So
that's a really good reason.
That's
you
not
know,
really the fan, though, is it? That's just
No,
the
that's
disc
the
drive.
drive.
that's the disc
Yeah.
drive, yeah.
Now, why do
Sorry.
you do it, Justin?
How do I do it?
No, why do you do it? Why do you rip to the drive? Do you notice? Is it because you notice a big speed difference, or is it more like you just want to not have to worry about getting the disc? Is it a convenience thing? Because you have to buy that big drive to do it.
Yeah, I had it already too.
I just kind of wanted it.
Yeah, I just do it because it keeps the Xbox
Yeah,
lasting
it's a cool
longer.
feature. It is a cool feature. All right, well, so moving on, I think we're all in agreement. The way they're doing the advanced content, but yet it still works out to be advertising, I think we're all pretty much cool.
Plus,
with
I
that.
just want to say, pretty excited for Portal 2 adding co-op. Anytime they add co-op to a game, it gets Justin and I excited. We love co-op in games together.
Yeah, Portal 2 having co-op is going to be the okay. I don't
Craziest.
beat many single players. Portal 2 is one of the few I've beat in probably a few years.
Oh, Portal
1 is. So Portal 2 with co-op is going to freak me out. I'm going to love it so
Well,
much.
the funny thing is that when Justin and I got it, we got it on the orange box, and we actually played it together. We just did it over the 360. We were
chat.
just talking to each other.
Yeah.
And, you know, if one of us got through the level, then we'd wait until the other one did
And
too.
you know what? What's interesting about that is that's pretty much how I played Portal, only I had like either a buddy there the whole time or I had Angela because we were all just, like it was a puzzle. We'd all try to figure it out. Yeah.
And so it was fun because we could both talk to each other and know what
So
part
to
of the level
actually
we
now
were
just
going
make that
through.
official.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we can actually see each other and stuff. It was just
Well, you got to think too. It's not just going to be the two you going through the same levels. It's going to be some crazy stuff where you're shooting holes in the wall and your friends jumping.
Well,
through.
they're going to build it now, right? Are they going to make
yeah.
it so co-op makes sense? Because if you make the puzzles so that you have to do something in cooperation to get through,
it's going to be crazy.
Oh wow!
Because imagine some of those where you're jumping and shooting, and then you have to shoot again as you're jumping. And if you have to like shoot and aim where your friend's shooting, I don't know.
Oh man, it's gonna get nuts.
It could get pretty.
It might get too nuts. I don't know.
But that's awesome. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. It adds that frustration because sometimes you know what you got to do, and then it's just like then to actually do it, it just gives you that sense of accomplishment.
Yeah.
And that's what I really loved about the first.
That's
Portal.
what I loved about it too. There was like when I first figured out like the leaping through portals to get it. I mean, I just remember all that crazy crap was awesome to get speed up and all that.
just when you're screwing around with the thing just for fun when you're just first messing around with it.
Yep.
So
Yep. All right, well, let's move on. Let's talk a little about the new Halo Reach game that's coming out. Now, this is different than a lot of the other stuff we've seen. Primarily, the biggest thing about this is it's multiplayer, ground up, all multiplayer, but on top of that, it's got a huge graphics boost. The thing is freaking beautiful now, and it's going to be a downloadable game on Xbox Live May 3rd. So, you know, people that are already Halo owners, like the most recent Halo game, will be able to
ODST.
they'll be able to participate in the beta of this for free. It's kind of an interesting deal. It is based in the year 2552, and it takes place with on a planet where we're at war with a planet we've occupied. We're at war with the indigenous species, and that's where the game takes place at. One of the things that Microsoft has touted in this is that they have done extensive improvements to the AI, and they've added jetpacks.
Jetpack's cool if they do it right. AI, heard it before.
Yeah, you're skeptical on the AI, huh?
When it's Bungie and Microsoft, it gives me some more hope because, especially with Halo, just because there's so much money being dumped into it, that they got to do it good. You know, I mean, they're not going to screw up their biggest money making franchise. With the jetpacks, like looking at the trailer and stuff, it seems like it could add a crazy level to multiplayer that would probably end up pissing me off, to be honest. But it would be enjoyable, I'm sure, for most people.
Because you'd have somebody like essentially camping in the sky.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't think it's going to be like that? You think it's going to be more like a jump pack than a jet pack?
Yeah.
I can't tell. They get pretty high, so it depends, you know?
That looks so good, though.
Yeah, it does look really good.
I don't know. With ODST, it's like I was interested in getting it, but never got around to it.
I did the same thing.
Maybe one day.
I was a big Halo 1 and 2 guy.
But even seeing this trailer, it does make me interested. I mean,
I feel the same way. I was not interested in ODST, and I am actually interested in this. Plus, if it really is going to be available fully as downloadable content, when you take out that barrier of me having to do anything else other than turn on the Xbox, I'm much more likely to check it out.
This is one's going to be totally.
I don't know. The news story I was reading today says it's going to be released via Xbox Live on May 3rd. I don't know if maybe anyone in the chat room might know if there's going to be a disc version too.
Oh wait.
So I'm excited to try it. And if you've got ODST, then you can already try the beta.
So that gives you a new reason to get ODST. If, say, for me, I haven't gotten it yet.
Well, but I don't know. Why not just? I mean, let's just get you in the beta.
Well, I know, but say I wanted to play it, it gives me another reason to get it. I just haven't gotten around to it. It was like, maybe when I find it in the bargain bin, I'll pick it up type of thing. Or right before this game comes out, I'll get it just brush up a little. Guru
Dude says that it's so with the date we're talking about is the beta date for the ODST purchasasers, May 3rd.
I was gonna say they wouldn't release this thing in May. They're gonna wait till
it's exactly that's just for the beta. And
people are gonna play the hell out of that.
Yeah, and it's gonna be the multiplayer component is what is downloadable via Xbox Live.
Okay.
So I got that a little bit backwards, but I hope I made that clear.
But since it is Halo, they might do it on their downloadable games. It wouldn't surprise me because
they haven't done one yet, though. I mean,
a full title.
No, they haven't done a new release at all of the full 360 games yet.
But that could be the one to change it.
That format, I know we just talked about this, but that format works so well via Steam. I mean, I bet you if you asked, I know Herder in the chat room here, I bet you if you asked a lot of the guys in the chat room that play PC games, they get them via Steam. And Steam is only downloadable content. You don't get a disc.
Oh, yeah.
But they've worked out all of the pre-order incentives that everybody gets and stuff like that. So downloadable content is already won, in my opinion, on the PC side. So it surprises me that Microsoft hasn't implemented this successfully yet on the 360 side.
I wonder if it has anything to do with the stores, like the GameStop and everything, because it seems like they have, like a lot of the publishers and stuff seem to have like a lot of exclusive deals with, especially GameStop with all the pre-order stuff.
So you're worried that their partners are saying if you go downloadable content only, you will kill our market?
Well, they will.
Well, no, because they sell other games besides the 360, A, and B, they could give them
but it's the start of the death of their market, is what they're probably
it'd be a
seeing.
Huge percentage.
So, I don't know. That's the one downside. I think it should be available both. And like Justin's always said, that if it's downloadable content, then it's cool if it comes out, that way he can just download it midnight, right?
That's exactly what you can do. I don't know. The thing is, too, is there's always going to be a part of the country and world that's not going to have internet, and they're not going to just leave them hanging.
Right.
I mean, it's going to be, I think, pretty good for people because you'll get to choose, and I think it's going to lay.
But I think a lot of the markets that have bad internet are not very big Xbox next generation console markets either. Because you wouldn't have live, you wouldn't have probably the financial money to spend on a console or video games. So
all I know is that
I don't know. I'm just theorizing there.
Wasn't it Modern Warfare, the first one, where it had the map when you load it up and it had all the little lights around the world of who was playing?
Yeah.
I saw some lights in Africa. I saw lights everywhere.
That's
except
cool.
for like North Pole and Antarctica.
Well, no, that's a good point. I mean, they always need to give some sort of physical distribution, I suppose. I don't know. It's interesting. I think it's gonna probably over the next year or so really kind of change up on the 360 and the PS3 and the Wii too. So I don't know. Well, we do have a preview, but that's going to be in a second. But before we get into that, we've absolutely, I cannot believe I almost forgot about this. We've absolutely got to talk about this Infinity Ward versus Activision stuff that's going on. Now, this stuff is crazy. So a little background here. Infinity Ward is the company that made the latest Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 for Activision.
And Modern Warfare, the first one. They've made really the good modern... The good ones. The good Call of Duties.
Yeah.
With the exception, I liked World at War. I was kind of burnt out by that time, but it was a good game, and that was the only one not made by them that was good, but they just basically used everything Infinity Ward had set up.
Call of Duty 2 was good.
That's Infinity Ward.
Was it?
Yep. Huh. All the ones we played were Infinity Ward except for World at War.
And so now these guys, in other words, have made Activision a ton of money. Is basically what I'm saying.
Especially with this last game. How much? Yeah. How much were you saying on the
$1 billion? Right? No, that's the franchise.
Oh yeah, they brought in over $3 billion.
That is wild. And in my opinion, that's obviously a big part of what's going on here. Is there's a big money struggle.
Well, pretty much Activision hasn't said anything yet. They just this is apparently the two guys, the Jason West and Vince Zampella,
two
the two
guys.
guys from Infinity Ward.
Yeah.
They had a memorandum of understanding.
Wasn't supposed to be like a full legal contract. It's like just a gentleman's agreement.
Yeah.
Between Activision and Infinity Ward, like over something this big, they had a gentleman's agreement.
Yeah, it wasn't legally binding whatsoever. I
Wow.
guess Activision, or not Activision, but the two guys from Infinity Ward are pretty much bringing Activision to court
Right.
over a totally, it's, a non-legal
Yeah.
Just like a
agreement.
conversation.
They're
Like, hey,
kinda
I'll do that
screwed.
for you.
They're
Sure.
kind of screwed. Those guys are kind of screwed. Now it's kind of weird. There's been suggestions of spying on Activision, spying on them. There's been suggestions of people getting brought into interrogation rooms. But
Yeah, they said, other Infinity Wards were also interrogated and some even cried.
yeah, isn't that
Like-
crazy?
These are all like allegations too. This is all coming from that 16-page complaint that the Infinity Guy Wards put out.
Yeah.
They also said they refused to hand the West and Zampella refused to hand over their cell phones and computers and were dubbed insubordinate by Activision attorneys.
Which
Yeah.
makes you wonder what was on their cell phones. What were they hiding?
Yeah, and were
Because
they corporate phones or?
Well,
they
that's just weird though. I mean, like that sounds like they're trying to enforce the law, and they're just civilians harassing their civilians. It's not like they're the police.
What I heard though, if because their contracts are written pretty hardcore, and what I heard is that they Activision thinks that they were talking to EA before their contract was up, and as soon as they found that out, because it says in there when they started the investigation that there wasn't a reason for that investigation necessarily. They
Gotcha.
launched the investigation so they could find something wrong in order to
They
fire
were
them
looking for trouble.
properly.
They were looking for trouble because they only had rumors to go off.
Yeah, and so that's
Activision was gunning for Infinity Ward because they were pissed because they were talking to EA.
But
That's pretty good. That's a pretty good rumor. I got to say that's pretty solid. That
But I
sounds
mean-
legit to me.
with the CEO Bobby Kotick, I mean,
Oh yeah, talk about that guy.
well,
Richard-
I think he's pretty famous for that horrible quote. He just seems like a total knob.
the quote being the goal that I had in bringing a lot of the packaged good folks into Activision about 10 years ago was to take all the fun out of making video games. End quote.
Now this is the CEO of Activision.
Yeah, the main man.
What the?
He said he wants to take the fun out of making video games.
What does he mean by that? Does he mean just make a business, like a process out of it, or what could that possibly?
And then he also wants to instill the company culture, skepticism, pessimism, and fear.
I know. So you have all your employees, like who wants to work there?
Who wants
That
to
does
play
not
video games?
sound fun.
Who wants to play video games made by people that work there?
No, that just
That's why they contract all the work out because everybody's too stressed out.
yeah.
Wow, that guy sounds like a real toolbox. I gotta say.
Yeah, why haven't
so
they-
obviously Activision's no Prince Charmings themselves. I wonder if you never know, that gentleman's agreement could have been insisted by Activision in the beginning just to get those guys into it.
Well,
That's what they were saying. That it was just kind of
They were hard up for a deal. Activision came along with a sweet ticket but said, "Oh, here, don't sign this contract. Sign this." I bet you that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
That is some
like,
shady
don't
stuff.
worry, we'll do this. It's just this is normal. But the thing is,
Just sign this to get things going.
that is rotten.
you hear about all their revenue loss that we were talking about last show, and now you hear this where they're not going to be, they're basically taking over, about $36 million away from the two guys.
Wow.
So it's like, you have money problems, lost revenue, and then this happens. It just seems a little weird to me. I don't
I
know.
hear you.
Maybe I'm looking a little too deep into it, but
I don't know, but just right off the bat, I know we only know one side of the story so far, but I am already, looking at Activision like they did something horrible. I'm not even giving them a chance so far, just from all these crazy allegations and the head, that Bobby Kotick dude, that is just, doesn't seem nice at all, dude.
No.
I don't want to root for that guy.
Now they got their main guy on record saying some bad stuff to an industry that's I don't
very
know.
open and
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, it's pretty messed up.
He gives, what it is Activision presents the image of suits trying to understand and sell to gamers that they consider to be idiots. It gives them, when you hear comments like that and you hear these actions like this, you think that's a bunch of fat, old, bald white guys sitting around a big table trying to figure out how they can milk middle American gamers because they're a bunch of jerks. Because that's the image they're giving me right now.
It is. It is. I didn't even think about that till now, and now that makes me feel like a piece of shit.
Does that piss you off?
Yeah, it makes me mad.
But maybe for all we know, there are a bunch of guys in shorts with sandals, and
not if he's taking all the fun out of making games.
No shorts and sandals.
At the other companies, yeah, I see that happening.
But what I'm thinking of too is that, I guess this guy's been the head of Activision for 10 years or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, tell me the last great Activision game.
Call of Duty, Modern Warfare.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's the Infinity Ward, though.
I know, but that's under their title, dude. That's
Yeah.
I know.
But I mean, check like what they done to Tony Hawk.
Watered that sucker down.
Just made it horrible. But different story.
Outside of Call of Duty, though, I guess.
I just want to say also,
Yeah, good point.
we hear a lot from the two owner sides, Jason West and Vince, but we really haven't heard anything from Activision. I'm always a lot more willing to go on the guy's side that's like, hey, this is what happened. This is my side of the story.
Right.
When the other guy's I'm not saying anything. No comment.
Activision
it's like, what are you hiding? What don't you want to say?
Activision just has to go through their legal department or whatever,
Yeah. And, you got to have time to put all that stuff together. You can't just come out and answer something without going through all your lawyers. These guys are too smart for that.
Yeah, they're in it to win it. And Infinity Ward is trying to appeal on the human level. And Activision's playing the game, the business game.
And they're probably going to win, too.
Yeah.
They've
been buying stuff up there.
All they have to do is get someone from EA to testify that they were, in fact, talking to Infinity Ward. Figuratively, at that point, they're going to won the case.
I just don't understand, too, how you can take somebody to court over the whole entire non-legal agreement.
Because it's it's $36 million or something like that.
And they've made them a lot of money.
But they're cut, like, if they don't, like, something they might not get is like $36 million, is what I think what might be on the line right now.
Yeah.
So I think that's worth spending a few K to go to court over. But the question is, I guess, even if you had a weak chance, would you probably still go for it, wouldn't you? Try to get 36 mil?
Well, if they're screwing you out of your money that you earned and you earned them, and all you're asking for is the money that was supposed to be given to you, or, whatever it is, but that seems to be what it all boils down to.
Yeah. Any final words before we move on?
That's just screwy.
Yeah.
So shady.
It is.
It feels games.
Yeah, it feels like it's taking the spirit out of the thing, because now it's like, oh, there really are these corporate things pulling all the strings all this time, and we just get to play these manufactured.
Yeah, it's not someone's dream game. It's just what they think we want to play.
That's kind of what I like about Star Trek Online. Is I know that, but then also it's a lot what I like about a lot of the games on the arcade, on the Xbox Arcade.
I was just gonna say that the games like the Braid and Winterbottom.
Braid, exactly. Braid is a classic example of an indie developer just making something awesome. Trials, okay. I never played Trials. So any other thoughts before we move on? Because we do have kind of a cool preview segment coming up. Should we go on?
Let's just do it.
All right, guys. Let's do the preview. All right, it is time for the preview segment. And in this episode of Legend of the Stoned Owl, we'll be talking about Metro 33. And we're playing a trailer of Metro 2033 right now for those of you watching the video version. And one of the things that I think I'll just mention really quick about Metro 2033 is the potential for this game here sounds pretty high. From a quick overview, it's being developed by 4A Games out of the Ukraine, which is interesting. It's going to be out for the PC and the 360, and it's being dubbed as an RPG Lite. RPG Light. I don't know exactly what that means. So you guys
hearing that more and more, it seems like.
Is that like Coors Light?
I don't know. I don't know if that's what it is. I'm enjoying it right now. So I'm enjoying myself an RPG Light right now.
So does this mean that that it's light on RPG elements, but they exist?
I think so.
Or does it have anything to do with a flashlight or something? Because there is a flashlight in the... Isn't there a flashlight in this game?
Yeah, there is. But no, it means light on the RPG style. It's going to be... this is cool. So it's on Earth, obviously. And it's going to be in the underground Moscow subway system. But here's what's nuts about this, and you're seeing this right now in the trailer, is This sucker is supposed to be fairly realistic to life as far as the layout goes. This is kind of supposed to be what the Moscow subway system is like, or some crap like that. I don't know. And here's another thing they're doing that's interesting. In 2033, because, it's like the post-apocalyptic world, cash no longer valuable, and your currency is bullets.
There must be a lot of bullets around then.
Well, and it's different bullets have different value and things like that. And so that's kind of interesting. What do you think is an interesting gameplay aspect? A lot of potential here. I mean, post-apocalyptic world in Russia, in the subway system, bullets are cash, looks incredible.
Gonna stop you. I just want to say, as far as the Metro thing goes, that's cool, but who knows? Really, like, it's not like, oh, hey, that's that corner of the Metro tunnel that I always like.
Right.
You know?
It's all in the tunnels.
I don't know.
It seems like
Is it open world in
I don't know exactly. And I've seen actually hints that you'll end up outside. So I've seen screenshots where you're outside. So it looks, it's not all tunnel, but it's supposed to be based heavily around it.
I like that. And like say Assassin's Creed 2, where they do
actually could feel kind of cramped maybe.
Yeah, but that could be cool for the atmosphere.
Yeah.
And I also like how I was reading about it, and they said it's basically there's really no HUD. It's just kind of you have to be watching what's going on and paying attention to stuff.
I like that.
So, I mean, unless you have an HD TV or something, it might not be a great game. Or if you're playing on the PC, I'm sure it'd be fine. But say you're playing on a standard TV, I can see that.
Speaking of
hurting.
PC, did you see that the requirements for this thing are like a 3 gigahertz quad or dual core Intel chip, like this high end freaking PC to play this thing?
That's why I don't PC game.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure mine's only going to cost $60.
But what are you thinking? What do you guys think about this? Does this mean so? Basically, it's pretty assuredly that the PC gamers are going to have a better looking game, and it's starting to create an upper class and a lower class of video games. It's creating the cheaper to lower class video games that you can always play on the console, and then you have the people that are willing to spend the extra money on a high-end gaming PC can now buy the upper class version of the game. So now, if I buy a PC version and you buy the 360 version, which is exactly what would happen, I'm going to have a different gaming experience than you will. I'm going to have a better looking game, and you're going to have a worse looking game, and now we've created two different distinctions between experiences.
I got money to go buy more games. You just spent all yours on a huge computer.
That's a good point.
For one.
That's a good point, yeah. Okay. But, so not a problem, you think?
I don't know. I like the console way. I like how things are advancing this far.
So you don't think it does, do you think it does or doesn't create that kind of just two different gamer sets? And does that matter?
One looks better. I mean, unless the content's different.
You don't care. As long as the game is still a good game.
Right. And I don't think it's going to look bad on the Xbox. Yeah, it'll probably look crisper and,
it's not about the looks.
But it's still going to look good. And I think it's
more about
even
the
looking at these
story.
screenshots, I mean, that looks good.
It's about the entertainment. It's not about, the looks are important, but it's more about being a good game. And it's still going to be the same core game regardless of platform.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. All right, cool.
Looking forward to it. Gonna see.
Check it out.
As details come out.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Definitely. All right. Well, that's our preview look at Metro 2033. Now, let's get into our review segment. And now it is time for our review segment, though we're doing something a little different this week. We're not actually doing a review. We teased you with that. We're doing something that, before we even started the show, we knew we wanted to talk about. And that's going to be our top 5 video games of all time. And we're each going to pick 5. Then we might throw in a few honorable mentions and then bring in some input from the chat room as well. So I thought just to keep things going, I'd kick off with my number 5 video game of all time. And that is Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. Not Modern Warfare 2, because I think Modern Warfare 2 is just more of the same. But I think Modern Warfare, Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare, my number 5 game, set a new bar. Now, this was a close runner with Gears of War. I really thought Gears of War would come in this spot. Because Gears of War nailed co-op.
Yeah, and I really like the cover system in Gears of War.
And the cover system was epic. But Call of Duty 4 nailed grouping. Like, getting together with your buddies in an Xbox Live game was never crazy easier. It was completely effortless. It was so integrated and so nicely. And the way you had multiplayer guns that you could add points to and skill up, it was a really great RPG element to a first-person shooter. So that it was one of the first times you really saw some great first-person shootery stuff and some nice RPG stuff coming together in a way that made multiplaying and co-oping so effortlessly that everything just clicked all together transparently. You almost don't even notice. It just happens smoothly and perfectly. And I think since then, that set the bar with the latest generation games on how they should interact in multiplayer environments.
I kind of agree. I played a lot of that game, but I just wish that with the RPG elements that they had in the multiplayer, they would have put into the actual first game. Because I like the first game a little more until you play on veteran and want to shoot your brains
the single
out.
player campaign?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now Justin, you more so are not much of a Call of Duty fan to begin with, right?
Right. I'm not just first persons in general.
Okay. Now, so did you get a chance to play Call of Duty 4?
Yeah, I played a lot of it actually with our.
You right, but don't you? I mean, it looked like I was kind of watching you when I was talking about it. It looked like you kind of clicked with maybe the part where I said about how it makes it easier than ever before for multiplayers to connect together and stuff, and how they did. I mean, they nailed some of that RPG integration.
They did, but they can take it so much further. I mean,
Well, they will now, but I think these guys kicked.
Well,
it
they will. I mean, they really didn't. I mean, they just added a few more perks, some pictures to put on your name tag. You know.
Yeah, but
Yeah, I think as far as RPG elements, you
gun
have
customization.
like Borderlands.
Oh well, yeah, for sure. Borderlands was number 6. Number 7 on my list.
Yeah.
For that. All right.
All right. What about
that's
you,
my number
Justin?
5. What about you,
What's
Justin?
your number 5?
My number 5 is Star Wars Jedi Academy.
Oh, you are always
Star
talking
Wars
about loving that
Jedi
game.
Academy.
Yeah.
I should have known, dude.
I don't know anything about this game.
Oh, it was great. It didn't follow the regular story that, you know.
Okay, this was an alternate storyline.
It was about there was a first one, which was Jedi Outcast, and then the second one, I think those two, you were Kyle Katarn. And then adding the third one, the one that I chose, was the Jedi Academies, because you get to create your own character.
Oh, okay.
And then
And
you
you're
get
all about the customization.
all about it. And they had the, that's when they introduced the 2 swords and the bow staff lightsaber and all that stuff.
Did you like that? You see what I did there with the Star Wars music?
But yeah, that game.
All right.
That game dominated. It was great.
And I believe I recall hearing the lightsaber battles were crazy epic, right? Like they really did something amazing with the lightsaber battles.
Yeah, it was fun. The combos were pretty good. That was the game. I remember it was all
The most realistic lightsaber battles like you'd seen yet in a video game, right?
Yeah. This was on the Xbox when I was playing it. The original. Yeah. And you had it was the first game where I really played, where you could jump really high. You had all the force moves and everything. You can push and pull.
Word.
And then you could choke people from, far away and sit there and hold them and then launch them into canyons and stuff.
Powers, right on.
Yeah, they were really good.
All right, Alan, you're number 5.
All right, mine is Aero Fighters for the arcade.
Aero Fighters. Did you have a visual of that? Over
Yeah,
there? Now, Aero
I
Fighters is an
definitely do.
old one.
Yeah, 1992. But I don't know. Every time I go to an arcade, I look for this game. If the arcade doesn't have it, I'm honestly disappointed. It's just one of those top
How old were you when this came out?
92.
Because I mean, is it one of those
I
where
was 8, I guess.
is it because you were about that age where you started playing these things and they were just so cool? Because I
Yeah.
know I've got a few arcade games where the game's not so hot, but whenever I see it, I have to stop and I have to play that arcade game.
Right, and
Because
that-
it's just from the childhood.
It's an addictive gameplay. I don't know. It's just that kind of classic, quarter, just shooting all these crazy. It's like Raiden. It's their 1942. There's a lot of games like it. For some odd reason, this one though, I just like the power-ups better. I like the ships better.
Yeah.
I always had to be player number
It
2
looked
in the
good for its
Japanese,
time.
so I'm Mao Meow or whatever her
Nice.
name is, because I love her ship's shooting abilities way better than anyone else. Just I don't know.
Do you remember thinking about how awesome this game looked? Like how detailed the ground was?
Never, but I was just always
Really?
I just always was crazy of how much they could have on the screen as far as like enemies and bullets and just because you're slamming the cabinet around back and forth trying to dodge everything and all the explosions and everything, and it never really glitched up, and that's what impressed me.
Word.
So
Right on. All right. So now on to the number 4 on our list. For number 4 on my list, now you guys, I know you guys remember this game, the old classic Descent. That game, now this is the first game. Also, by the way, I have to say, the first game I ever played in 3D. My dad had this pair of glasses that you wore that's a lot like what they're trying to sell today. And I had a Matrox video card with like the special 3D accelerator thing.
Oh, dang, dude.
And I could play this game in freaking 3D. Now, this also was one of the first games, right, where you could spin in 3 dimensions. So you could be upside down and still flying around because you're in corridors and you're blown up. Because you go down to these mines and you're blowing up these guys that invaded these mines. And remember, they had this whole epic intro in space where the ship flies in and your guy's bitching about his job and he's getting put up in this thing. And do you remember all this?
Yep, and the ship. Yeah, the funny thing is I didn't even own it. I had to go over to Justin's house to play it. But he was the one that showed me and was just like, you have to see this.
Yeah, I watched that intro animation sequence over and over again because I was like, this looks amazing. Do you remember what I'm talking about?
No, that game was really fun when I was playing it. That's probably the computer game I probably put the most time into.
Yeah, this one really set me into computer gaming. This launched me into Tomb Raider. This launched me into Duke Nukem 3D, which I regrettably could not put on this list. But
not even Doom for you?
Out of all of them, Duke Nukem, I mean, to this day, sometimes I think to myself, time to kick ass and chew bubblegum. I still think that to this day. Like, I remember going to the nudie bar and seeing them throwing money around and stuff. So, I had Duke Nukem, I had to bump it for Descent. I had to be able to put Descent in here because, first of all,
just because of what it meant to you.
And it was one of the first games I played with my dad on the PC.
Oh, yeah.
And so we both were like playing the same game. And it was I just felt like it was good trivia, good combat, good progression. I don't know. Did you guys like this game?
Yeah, like I said, I didn't play it that much.
Didn't make your list.
No, didn't even think about it. I forgot about it until you said it.
Yeah, that goes up with
Tomb Raider
the first
or something.
Deus Ex or whatever. Those games kind of got washed away.
All right.
Justin.
What's your number 4, dude?
My number 4 is going to be Banjo Kazooie.
Well, I heard some hesitation. Now, do you have any graphics to this one? No?
I'll
get them.
But I can
Tell me about Banjo Kazooie, because doesn't even ring a bell.
Banjo Kazooie was released on the Nintendo 64.
Oh, wait, I am recalling right now.
Yeah,
actually.
you're the bear with the bird on the backpack.
That's awesome.
And the witch, the evil witch lady, steals your sister, and you're just.
This is like early.
This is like 96 or something.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
the N64.
It's old, but when I got my hands on this game, it was great because there's one main world where you go around and you open up all the other worlds with inside of it, and then you go to some worlds and there's like a Halloween looking type of world where it's all mansions and tombstones running at you.
And it's kind of it's just we're watching and listening to it right now.
Oh, it's goofy.
Oh, and always going over and seeing you play it. It's just always kind of happy, kind of colorful, even when it is the darker kind of levels. The music always fits whatever's level's going on, even if you're
they match it.
Yeah, it's cool too because when you go, if you go underwater in a level, the different parts of the level you go through, the music will change to go with that part of the level.
Yeah,
it's the same exact music, but when you get you're in the rusty treasure
area.
trove cove.
Yeah,
it's the kind of beach island pirate place.
Sure.
And so you get on a pirate boat and it kind of gets into that yo ho kind of music.
They kind of change it up depending on where you're at, location.
Yeah, it's the same exact music, but they just change it to sound more like where you're at.
And that's become more and more subtle in games now.
Yeah,
but that was really new back then. Oh, that was new back then.
I don't think they do it enough still.
Yeah,
I think they do it. Well, yeah, maybe so.
This is I don't know. It was the platforming wasn't hard, but it was It was great. It was a beautiful game.
What do you got, Alan? What's your number 4?
All right, this one's kind of probably a lot of people. Tetris.
Yeah, you gotta put Tetris on there.
I don't know. I've always loved Tetris. I've always played it on the Game Boy, on the Nintendo, tons. This version on the Nintendo.
Let me ask you this: have you been a Nintendo purist, or do you like all of like the deviation type games too?
Pretty much a purist. I play, on the cell phone or on the computer when, just however you can in any incarnation that's close. But really, for me, it's all about the NES version. I don't know why. And I like going through and you get all the different levels. Like, there's, if you do the level 10 or whatever, you get all the penguins and stuff, how there's different endings. I don't know. I spent one day unlocking everything because if you do all the little puzzle modes, and that's how I spent a day, just doing that. And, it was the one game that I could beat any of my friends at. And I don't know, I just always really could sink a lot of time into this.
What about you? Did you ever play it?
I played a lot of Tetris, but not that well.
Yeah, same. I played a lot of Tetris, but not very well at all.
No, I did it for fun, and then once it stopped being fun and got too hard, I was done.
Yeah.
All right, so should we move on to number 3? It's a good one.
Yeah.
All right. My number 3 game of all time is Quake 3 Arena.
Good game.
Quake 3 Arena was the first time I played them all. I played Quake 1 and 2. Quake 2 was great.
I played way more of Quake 2, to be honest.
Yeah, but Quake 3 was the first time multiplaying over the general internet, which is dudes, and LAN partying the same game without paying for anything, just came together. And then from Quake 3, all of these maps and mods, and there's still games in development based off Quake effing 3. Quake 3 changed first-person shooters. Really, it's changed so much about video games forever. And we were there when it came out, and we played it. And so I had to put Quake 3 as number 3.
Although I got, if I'm being honest about it, I did like it. Like I said, I played Quake 2 more. It was the first really PC game I had the full one and I've played a lot of. But Quake 3, it's my fault in gaming. It's a little too fast and it makes me dizzy and it's kind of nauseous.
I sometimes enjoy the fast pace. Sometimes
Just like Unreal Tournament,
if I want to change and I want fast, I love going to Quake. I have to warm up to it, but I find I pick it up. The other thing that was really lucky and fortunate for me in Quake 3 was it was out when I was working at a school district that had a computer lab that we just upgraded.
Nice.
And so we loaded it, all the computer kids loaded it on
of course.
all of the, so we had 25 machines. We had a 25-person LAN party in the same room.
And you could just yell at each other. Oh, yeah.
In the same, and we ordered pizzas and,
we had a couple of those after school.
I've never been able to replicate that experience again. And that was all on Quake 3.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That has to go with one of my honorable mentions was that Halo mostly won.
Yeah.
Because we would get together at my friend's place with 4 TVs and System Link and...
Yep. Yes.
I mean, there was one time where we had like a 3-4 hour long, capture the flag match with everyone there.
Halo on the original Xbox is still going hard today. I have...
Not on live.
No, it's not. But the System Link is.
Yeah.
I have a client where, like, on Fridays they have big Halo 1 on their on their corporate projectors, like in their conference rooms and stuff.
It's like we got a Shadow of the Colossus fan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Never
Shadow of the Colossus from Rikai. Tetris, not so hot from Jeremy in the chat room. Oh, okay.
That's
what a
classic.
jerk.
Anyways, Justin.
All right, so Justin, what is your number 3?
You.
My number 3 is God of War 1.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely. God of War 1, from what I know, really kind of just like established the future benchmark for storylines.
No, man.
I mean, is there any other game that had a richer storyline before this game came out? And has there been since? Other than other God of War? I don't think there has been. I mean, they could make movies out of this thing, right?
Oh, I have just watched the cutscenes on their own. They're great. I don't know.
You can make a trilogy of movies out of this game.
It is. I don't know. I just can't say enough about that game.
Yeah.
It still looks good.
Yeah, it still stands up. It stands up beautifully.
Yeah.
And we're looking at the trailer right now, and it looks gorgeous. So there's nothing wrong with that game. And
from watching Justin play, just seeing him beat the living hell out of people, it's fun to watch. Not even the cutscenes, just the game itself.
Yeah,
because it's just like a lot of it's just so brutal, and
I almost rather watch it than play it.
Yeah.
Oh no.
But I'm glad you're playing it.
Oh, it is.
It's just for me. It was
But now I gotta ask.
it was almost visual entertainment just to watch it.
What made you pick number 1 over number 2?
No, the first one I played. I just recently played the collection number 1 and 2, pretty much on top of each other. As soon as I beat the first one, I went straight to the second.
Nice.
And I've already played God of War 1 before this on the PlayStation 2. But then when I got through it and through the second one, I don't know. The first one just got me way more excited at the end.
Well, there's always also something too when it's the first one. You know, God of War 2 was awesome, but it wasn't groundbreaking.
Yeah, I guess that's a great way to look at it because
Yeah.
everything was the same. It still
It
generally
was still
looked the
saying
same.
more. It was more awesome. It
Yeah.
was more of the awesome.
More of the awesome. That's a
but
great way
it
to
was
put
the same awesome.
Yeah, there was no generation leaps or
Yeah.
anything, but this on the third one
I
there
dig what
will
you're
be.
saying. Yep. All right. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
All right, Alan, number 3.
All right. This one, just a lot of time spent playing it. Mario Kart 64.
Oh, this has got to be on a ton of people's list.
Yeah, I gotta say, Super Nintendo one, pretty cool, hard as hell. The Wii one, not my cup of tea. Same with the GameCube. There's just something about the N64 one that is just we went to my friend's house and busted that out over playing the Xbox new games, over playing everything. We just wanted to play this and split screen it on a TV.
Totally.
And I gotta say, Wario is always my man.
That's the one you go to?
I always go to Wario.
Well, now, my buddy John and also Phoenix Fighter in the chat room would both say their number 3 slot is going to be GoldenEye, which is an N64
See,
title.
that was in my not honorable mentions, but in my big list of games that I did play a lot of.
GoldenEye introduced some amazing
But see, that thing
gameplay.
you cannot go back to. You cannot go. No, try it. It's
Really?
You can't.
Really?
I tried. Maybe it's just me.
The gameplay, once you go through it, you're done.
The controller, it's just not the same.
Oh, you
considering,
mean the console you can't go back to?
Yeah, how you look back, like Mario Kart.
I agree.
I can pick up the 64 controller, no big deal, play it just like it was, when it first came out. But you try to do the things that you're used to now on first-person shooters, and it just wasn't there at the time. Yeah, awesome.
It was because it was new and you
But
didn't have anything
going
else
back,
to come from.
it just.
What about you, man? Did you ever get into very much Nintendo 64?
Yeah, I was a big Nintendo 64 guy.
Would you put this as one of the top ones on that platform, or do you have other games on your list?
On the
N64 specifically.
You have
I got-
besides Banjo.
I got Blast Core.
Oh, Banjo was N64.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. N64, both big ones.
Justin always liked
Now-
Blast Core, which is a game that no one ever really talks about.
Was this console one of the first ones? Was this one? This one still wasn't purchased by yourselves. It was probably purchased by your folks, right?
No, I actually
Was-
got enough scratch to
This
get
is
my
your first
64.
console?
Yeah.
Was this your first purchase too?
Mine was actually the Genesis, but I got it way after it was out.
Okay. All right.
But, I just had friends that had the 64s, and we'd go over to their house and just party up and battle. And
I was a
everything. It fun.
huge. I remember being really worried about Nintendo. I remember because I was so in love with my Super Nintendo, and the PlayStation came out, the PlayStation 1, and I remember being really worried about Nintendo, and I was really worried about the N64. And when the N64 came out, I had saved up for it. And that was my very first console purchase.
Yeah.
And that's a big deal right there.
Oh,
in
yeah,
itself.
that's huge.
I was a huge game Nintendo guy back then. So,
All right.
it's a good list. All right, should we
Moving
go on to
on,
number
Chris.
2?
What's number 2?
All right, number 2 for me, and I know none of you are going to agree with this one, but this game has a special place in my heart, and that would be Star Trek: The 25th Anniversary.
Don't know anything about it.
No, I didn't think you would. First of all, amazing gameplay, and it really is just as a video game. If you played it, you would think it's excellent gameplay, excellent storyline, a good space combat, good ground combat. It is a freaking epic game, and then on top of that, for the time, it had really revolutionary graphics.
That reminds me of
PC,
Wing
or-
Commander.
It was PC, but then it came out for every console. Yeah, I played it on the Macintosh back in the day, and the thing that I remember the most is they did this copy protection thing where you, in order to get to different places in space, you had to enter the coordinates for where it was, and you had to have their manual in order to find where you needed to go. So you had to correspond with the codes that they had in their manual to the place you needed to go in the game. So that was their form of copy protection. That way you had to have the manual in order to decode where to go in the
That
game.
would piss me off.
So it took me years until the invention of the wonderful internet, where I could find this map, because I have a backed up copy of the game. I've bought the game multiple times, And because it's like the $5 bin now. It's like in the $5 bin.
Right.
So you pick it up. You're like, oh shit, yeah, I want to play it, but it don't come with the manual. So finally, thanks to the internet, I found the map. The gameplay elements in this game are very story driven. It's like playing in Star Trek. And this was my first game where I sat down like around with a buddy. I sat down around like 7 p.m. and then we literally looked up and went, "Oh crap, it's 2 a.m." Like that's the first game that ever happened with me. And when that's how much fun we were having. And we figured out puzzles together. It was a lot of fun. And I know in the chat room there's got to be some people that agree with me. But all right, Justin,
what console did Final Fantasy VII come out on?
That was the original PlayStation.
Is that the epic Final Fantasy?
That is like the Final Fantasy that everyone really kind of talks about, besides the old school NES ones. But they all kind of argue about that one. Normally, number 3 I think is the preferred on the.
How many Final Fantasies did you guys play?
None.
0.
I played the Super Nintendo one.
I played a little bit of number 7 and a little on a Game Boy, but it sucked.
Yeah. All right. What's your number 2?
My number 2. It's a toss-up.
Oh, you said we had to be firm.
I know.
No, you got to do it, dude. Just go with your gut. You got to do it.
I got to go with Grand Theft Auto San Andreas over Vice City.
San Andreas.
Really? I thought you were going to go Vice City.
What is the deal breaker between the two? What pushed you over the edge?
San Andreas was perfect. I don't know. It was just it was the pinnacle of, the Grand Theft Auto. It was the best one.
Definitely.
How many ago was that?
How many ago? That was the last one. Besides, it was one before 4.
So like the most recent one the guy with the Russian guy?
Yeah, that's number 4.
That's number 4.
That's the one I bought.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one's for the PlayStation 2 and Xbox.
Okay.
Yeah,
the whole Grand Theft Auto franchise
has been amazing.
Revolutionary.
Oh,
completely
even from
open world revolutionary.
Even from the first ones on the very top down.
Yeah.
They were
didn't
awesome.
They didn't look so hot.
But just what you could do in the game.
Yes. I mean, I'm glad Grand Theft Auto's on your list because this game changed gaming forever.
Yes, definitely.
In so many different ways.
It's the first game I ever 100% finished.
It's interesting. Wow.
I did everything I possibly could on it.
Wow. Well, and it's it's the first game where you could ever beat a hooker. It's the first game where
you could do it in GTA 3.
Oh yeah.
And
totally.
No, I'm saying the Grand Theft Auto franchise.
Oh,
the franchise is the first game where you could.
That was an adult only rating anyway.
Where you could push it like that, like the way what they got away with was groundbreaking, and the way they did it with the open world was just amazing. So just
the story they told, it was a great story.
All right,
everything, yeah.
That's your number 2.
It was great.
Number 2, yeah, it was toss up between that and Vice City. I put a whole lot of time into Vice City too, but
at the end of the day, though,
has to be San Andreas.
All right. Grudgingly, apparently.
I know. I was conflicted until just now when I was forced to do it.
I'm surprised you did.
All right, Alan. What is your number 2?
Mine is one I played a lot of. I couldn't decide between Tony Hawk 1, 2, and Underground.
All right.
So really the main one was between Tony Hawk 1 and Underground but I'm going to have to go with 1 because that was just the first one in the series. That's the one that really
this is Tony Hawk 2.
This
is like Underground or something footage.
So how do you feel?
Still, it's the same thing.
How do you feel about where Tony Hawk is at right now?
Oh, Tony Hawk has done nothing but disappoint me from Underground. Since the Underground one, even Underground 2, it was all right, but since it's just gone downhill, and the new board thing, I don't even give it a chance anymore. But the first one, I played hours just perfecting combos and trying to find like the perfect line and learning the tricks and just trying to do as much as I could to get the highest combo, and beating my friends and
beating me all the time.
And the 3 minutes, where you had to like just race across a level to, find the goal or do the skate or, whatever you had to do.
I love the graffiti multiplayer game.
Yeah, where you just have to paint everything with your highest scores. And so you're just trying to slap your friend over while trying to like get your color. And then you see one of his colors on the ramp and you just want to do everything to beat him. And
I do like that.
It was just so addicting of a gameplay for me.
And from this came so many of like these snowboarding games. Really they were just...
Which is another one that was kind of on Justin's list and made me wish it was on mine, was the SX Tricky.
That's on my
Okay.
honorable mentions.
Yeah.
SSX was the greatest snowboarding
That was
game
tons
ever
of fun
made.
for the 64.
For the real Jeremy feller down there, they don't sell, but they give away Grand Theft Auto 1 and 2 for free
Oh,
on
where?
Rockstar.com, I'm pretty sure.
For the PC?
Yeah.
You just download them and play them?
Yeah, they don't charge you for them. I got them for free on my computer.
Wow.
Well, we'll figure it out and put a link on the site maybe.
Absolutely. Check the show notes. All right. Now on to the number 1 slot.
All right, here it is.
Here we go. My number, you guys are going to laugh at this one.
I can't believe this.
My
Yeah.
number 1 game is Microsoft Flight Simulator
Wah,
1.0. Now, here's why. So I don't remember how old I was when this came out, but it was on my first computer. It was one of those black and white Mac Plus computers. And, these things had 1 megabyte of RAM, like 1 gigahertz or 1 megahertz processor, just like, this is the type of game we're talking about. I booted off a floppy disk, but it was my first computer and it was my first video game. It was all kind of out of whack. It wasn't really my first video game per se, but it was my first PC video game. And even though it's technically not really a PC, I suppose it's a Mac. But what I would do is I would have to have a special operating system boot disk just so I'd have enough memory to play the game that I'd boot off of, and then it would launch the game just far enough where then it could ask for disk 2, and it would automatically eject, and I'd have to put disk 2 into the game just so I could play it. And then I was in an airplane, and I was flying in my bedroom, and I was pretending to be in a plane. I was pretending to be a captain. I was taken away, and it was my own private little spot where I could go and close the door and leave for a while. And I had a Super Nintendo, and I had NES, I had an Atari, but those were always in the family room where everyone else was there, or I was playing with my brother or my mom and dad were in the room or whatever.
By yourself.
And this was where I got to just go away. And
This game just seems, rather than your favorite game of all time, it's your favorite memory of all time, too.
Yeah.
yeah, it really was. Well, it was because of this game that I got into gaming, and then I, from there I moved on to a bunch of other classic.
And we're never ever able to recreate that feeling, I'm sure, too.
Shuffle Puck Cafe. I remember.
Do you remember Shuffle
that.
Puck Cafe? This was
Oh
this
my
was a
God.
high one on my honorable mentions list because I played this.
What is this?
You never played this, dude?
It's for those that aren't watching the video, it's this weird Pong type of game that was on the Mac, and there's just weird ass characters as far as like who the computer is.
And they have this little robotic arm that comes out and writes on the chalkboard.
Oh man.
Good job. And they have a little computerized voice. But do you remember the gal?
Oh yeah, she was hot.
The ga-
First time on a computer was like
She had cleavage.
She like flashed her cleavage.
Yeah. Oh, she went full frontal.
Really?
I'm pretty sure she went full frontal.
Are we
Maybe
going to
not.
see it?
I don't know. I'm hoping
I hope so. We gotta watch this now because I remember as a kid that was the first real like boob period I had seen, and it was just totally unexpected on a game. Yeah, she was all magical and mystical.
Yeah. So that was one of my fond memories. That was an honorable mention.
But very nice. All right, enough of that.
Oh, all right. Okay, all right. Just wanted to play the music one sec because I have the music loaded up here. Do you remember that?
Yeah, we would just watch that for a while because there was stuff going on the screen.
Yep. All right. Okay. So
All
that's
right.
my number 1 game is Microsoft
Very
Flight
nice.
Simulator because it changed. It made me into gaming. What's your story? What's your number 1, Justin?
My number 1 is Prince of Persia, Warrior Within.
Oh yeah.
Prince of Persia. Now this isn't the first Prince of Persia.
No,
right?
the Sands of Time was the first one.
Right. Was this the one that came out on the GameCube or?
No, this was after the GameCube. This was PlayStation 2.
Oh, so then this was like the third Prince because there was even a Prince of Persia like.
Oh, there's an NES.
Yeah.
That I don't count that.
Okay.
It's like Grand Theft Auto 3 is Grand Theft Auto 1 to me practically.
Oh, all right.
I don't care about the other ones.
So why this game?
It was. They had that whole entire time rewinding dagger that you got to keep.
Yes, the Sands of Time.
Yeah, and it's before.
Where you could go. Whoop, 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 whoop.
Yeah,
That was my rewind of sound effect.
you can start. It was, and then you got to travel through time in this one, not through time, but you're in the same place, and then time shifts back into the past or into the future.
That must have been a cool graphic.
It was just crazy because then it made the game so hard because all of a sudden everything will be different because it's been deteriorating over the years and it's
Oh,
all
okay.
garbage now.
So you flash forward when it's become all when
You don't get to choose when you flash forward and back. They just do it for you.
when you go forward, it's all messed up.
Yeah, but when you can go forward in time, it was all messed up, and then back in the past,
Wow.
it's all nice. But when you're going through the levels, it's all nice and everything, and then you go back through it, and you have to go all the way back now
Okay.
because you're back in time or you're in the future, and everything's garbage, and all the ways to get around are totally different. 'Cause
So it's almost a different map because of obstacles and whatnot.
yeah, it's crazy, and that's when they got really brutal with the combat and everything.
That's a crazy
And the
great gameplay
music.
mechanic.
Oh,
Good music in this
yeah,
one?
Yeah, they had metal instead of big, huge symphonies.
Orchestration.
Really?
Yeah, they had some good metal, and everybody dumped on it for them doing that. They did
Really?
not like it. I feel like I was the only one that liked it. It was the only thing that I disagreed with everybody
I
on.
went over to his house and he was telling me, showing me how awesome it was, and I agreed. I'm like, and I thought he was listening to some of his music, and he's like, "No, this is a soundtrack. It's so much better than the first
What did
one."
you think of it?
I thought I didn't actually play it, but just watching it, it just same with God of War. You know, it was just fun to watch. I could watch it.
But
and then
what'd you think of the
listening to
soundtrack?
It was awesome.
You liked it?
I really liked it. It seemed very fitting with what was
I'm
going
enjoying
on.
watching the
Because, like you said, it
what we're
was
playing right now.
brutal, and the music just seemed very fitting. I hate to be like, that was brutal metal music, but
But what you're doing
It was
is
good.
is
It was
intense.
cool.
The
It was very
combat was
fitting.
really, really honed in too.
Well, I mean, this looks like almost like a God of War type game from where I could sit here and watch you play this.
They have ruined the Prince of Persia franchise with that last
I know,
game.
I
They
know.
completely threw it in the garbage.
I
and
know. They have a movie coming out too.
I know, and the game's going to be based loosely off the movie or something, but still, I'm getting sick of it.
I hear you.
I'm all down with Ubisoft, and they have stuck this one into the butt on me,
which is
dude.
very weird for Ubisoft or Ubisoft.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
they're generally a great shop.
great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
oh,
I've got some long fond memories
Love
of
'em.
Ubisoft. All right, well that's a solid number one.
I'm going to download it off Steam tonight.
Deuce X, the first game that have true open world choices and evolving storyline. That is Phoenix Fighters' number one game. Although Mr. Herder in the chat room is not a fan.
Is Deus Ex the one where the very beginning of the level, you walk up to that barrel full of toxic waste, and then you put your hand in it and die immediately?
Really?
Because there was this game that I had on the PC that was either I loaded up Descent or I tried to play this game, and every time I'd walk to the barrel, and I think I was supposed to, and every single time I put my hand in there, and my guy would scream and die.
That's great.
I don't
Yeah, that was this game. That was.
Yeah, Deus Ex got ruined for me on that day.
All right, we gotta let Alan say what his number one is.
Well, mine got totally ruined by Justin because I didn't think he was going to pick it. And
Was that your number one?
San Andreas is my number one. It was really
Interesting. We got a tie.
It's what brought me back into gaming. Before that, you know, like as a kid growing up with the Genesis and everything and all these other games, you know, they're obviously, you know, the PS1 was Tony Hawk. And then, you know, I just kind of gamed here and there, gamed with my friends and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then Justin actually gave me this game. And
You got him hooked, dude.
Yeah.
and I spent a month after, you know, after school, after work, because I was when I was in college, community college, not real college. And
Thanks
you
for
know-
making the clarification.
Oh
dude.
yeah. I don't want anyone thinking anything. Still don't have a degree or nothing, so nothing. But no,
wanna
I
set
just,
the expectations too
I
high.
went home and like
love it.
I had a case of cherry Coke underneath my chair, the room temperature, just because I didn't want to leave to go
I
downstairs.
hear
Like,
you.
and like we said before, the soundtrack was awesome. When Justin and I work, when we drive around, just hanging out, we still listen to the
Listen
soundtrack.
to it. Yeah, I've done that. Yeah.
It's
It's when it's good
everything's
music.
about
It's
the
good
game.
music.
Good
yeah.
voice acting, good everything,
bottom.
good story. We look at the map and it makes me want to play.
StarCraft.
Rikai says StarCraft is his number one game. You know, I'll say this about StarCraft. It should be on my list because StarCraft has gotten years and effing years of play out of me. StarCraft, if my buddy called me up and said, "Hey, do you want to come over this weekend and play StarCraft?" I'd be like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I absolutely want to play StarCraft." Solid number one, Ellen.
Yeah.
Brian, from Jupiter Broadcasting, wrote in and wanted to have an honorable mention of his top 5. So I will read his email now. He says the tone of his email is, of course, relaxed and enjoying a fair amount of green tea.
Right.
He said, "Dear all you assholes, I have heard that you assholes will be discussing your top 5 favorite video games ever during an episode of whatever the asshole show it is you're doing.
Legend of the Stoned Owl.
It is highly likely that all you assholes will be wrong due to your own assholey nature. He's probably right.
Guy's looking for an ass woman.
If any of you says Halo, Warcraft, Diablo, or Call of Duty, oh man, I'll personally stab you in the face. It is to compensate
Honorable mention.
for your list that I have read or will be here read. It is correct, non-asshole generated list. Really?
All right,
Really?
just burn through it really quick. I don't care.
Sonic the Hedgehog 2000.
Honorable
All right,
mention.
Sonic the Hedgehog, Civilization, Trade Wars 2002, Super Mario Brothers 3, and Elite. If you disagree, you're probably an asshole.
Super Mario Brothers 3 and Sonic were both honorable mentions.
Yeah, Sonic
but
especially.
yeah, I Genesis boy growing up, so
I was having a debate with somebody if I should put Sonic on my list, and I don't remember who that was. They had
Yeah.
considerable thought into that. All right.
my other honorable mention I just wanted to say was Fallout 3.
Oh yeah.
Awesome game.
Did you want to put an honorable mention in for Fallout?
Yeah, I think I called that game the best game ever.
So
at
if anybody in the
1.2.
chat room wants to call in with their honorable mentions or their top 5, or if anybody in the chat room has anything they want to throw out, they can do that now. Is there anything else you wanted to put on your
Madden 96.
Oh yeah, you almost
yeah.
forgot to put Madden.
Madden didn't make the list just because
Now, what console was Madden 96? So 96.
it was on the Genesis and
Yeah,
Super
okay,
Nintendo and
okay.
stuff like that.
Yeah. Huh.
But they had the first time where when you created your own player for your team.
We got Herder joining us. Go ahead, Herder.
Oh, cut me off.
Sorry.
Oh, you guys still talking though?
Yeah, we are. Well, all right, hold on, Herder. He'll finish his thought.
No,
No, go for it,
my
Herder.
thought's
Yeah,
dead.
that's fine.
All right, Herder, go ahead. He lost his thought.
I got time.
What's your list?
Well, hang on. First off, I'm gonna start off with
here we
Mr.
go.
Asshole email.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Brian.
It's obvious that he likes the games that are the franchises that never progress. I mean, he put in what was a Civilization,
Yeah.
Sonic,
Yeah,
the franchise that never progressed.
That's true.
So, anyways, just gonna throw that out there.
it's interesting
Now,
observation.
This guy should
Just-
take my
yeah.
place on the show. He's smarter.
No, it's a win
Now,
for all
I'm
of
gonna
us.
link some of the videos of my top 5. Actually, I already
Oh,
loaded them
very
up on
nice.
YouTube.
Good man. Alrighty.
I got the links. So first one. Now I'm glad you brought this up. Whoever middle guy is,
That's Justin.
That's Justin.
Middle guy.
Justin. You brought up Jedi Knight Academy, which reminded me of Dark Forces 2 Jedi Knight.
Oh yeah.
Which-
Oh yeah.
In its own right, and
Amazing
I linked
cutscenes.
the cutscenes, which is what I linked, were live action. One of the what's that?
Yeah,
What's
that
that?
looks cool.
Pointing. There we go. Yeah, this is where the
Is
shit's
this Sega
crashing.
CD?
Yeah, what's this one?
must
Was
have
this
been
on?
this must have been Sega CD, right?
No, this was PC.
Oh.
Yeah, no, this was a little bit later.
Yeah.
But full 3D live action was one of my favorites. Enjoy the lightsaber combat. I mean, beforehand we all had the shooters. We've all done it.
Oh, yeah.
This one added in the lightsaber combat first time. Very awesome.
Okay.
All right, what's your next one on the list?
Next one.
Next one, again, it's not in-game footage. Sorry, going to be Red Alert Command and Conquer.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah. I played the
This-
heck out of this game.
This one for me was one of the ultimate in the early days strategy games where it really got all the formula correct.
Yeah,
Had
yep.
fantastic cutscenes, live action once again. You
Loved
had
them. They were so
Stalin.
funny. That bad, like almost B movie type of stuff. It's
Oh yeah,
It was great.
Well, but it wasn't as cheesy as they went into with the later series. Which
yeah, it
got
was
a
just
lot.
enough to be funny where it didn't seem like they were trying to do it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, I love the green screen. All right,
It
that's
looked
a
like they
great
were
one.
trying, and it just happened to end up that way because they didn't have a lot of money.
That was a great one. All right, what's your next one, Herder?
All right, the next one is actually, and bear with me, I apologize for the way I'm going to do this. It's actually 3 games in one. It's because of what BioWare has done to the RPG genre. I put Mass Effect, Jade Empire, and Dragon Age
Jade
together.
Empire.
Thank you. Because it was like the first few games where it's an RPG and it's not D&D based or has any of those kind of mechanics in it. It was, we're throwing that all out. We're going to create our own that'll work live, instead of the faux churn style they tried doing.
Yeah.
They did the shooter, Mass Effect, got better in the second. Jade Empire, which I would love to see come back, was
I know.
a great martial arts game.
Did you play?
I meant
No,
to
but
look at that. Hang on a second, my bad.
Reading about
There it is.
here and everything.
That's just Jade Empire screen. Most people hadn't even seemed like played it. And then Dragon Age, where it was a fantasy more about racism. It was a very, very good story, I felt. And again, throughout the D&D stuff and let them come up with a new system.
You can get Dragon Age on the Xbox 360 and the original games.
Yeah.
But that game was the one that was all about the different kung fu styles and stuff, right?
Yeah, Jade Empire was about kung fu. Yep.
God, that was great.
The good and evil. I love the twist. Actually, this is actually a mega spoiler video because this is where they showed the second time through and who the guy in the mask really is.
Oh, don't
show it.
Should I pause?
All right, what's your next one?
This game's like
It's
8 years
towards the
old.
end. Don't you worry about it. Yeah, I know. Honestly, if you hadn't played it now,
I don't want to spoil it though.
that's all right. Next video.
All
Don't
right.
you worry about it. It is Half-Life.
Oh,
Very
I'm
nice.
surprised that didn't make it on yours.
I know, it almost did.
But not
in
Half-Life
the time
2?
and when Half-Life came out in 1998, before you had games like Wolfenstein 3D. You had the straight line shooter where there wasn't much story, just kind of showed up and you killed things.
Yeah.
I guess there was demons, hey, whatever, or Nazis, whatever you're shooting.
Yeah.
But this one, I don't even remember a game before this that started where you're getting introduced to this mega science facility. You get immersed, like the guy can't get out of the tunnel. He's stuck in his in front of that door.
Yeah.
You see the factory. You go by missiles and Apache. You see people walking around. I mean, yeah, that was one of the things that really captured me.
Absolutely.
And my number one.
Number one.
I think it's the ultimate of the series in which this genre has died. I believe, unfortunately. And it is. Here's the link. I'll give you a few seconds to put it up.
Is it going to be Myst?
What?
Myst?
No. Well, that genre.
Hey, what's wrong with Myst, you guys?
That game was pretty bad.
It's interesting.
All right, give it up.
All right.
Who's not watching?
I got it.
Grim Fandango.
This is the Tim Schafer one, right?
Tim Schafer. This was I think it's his fourth production.
His last one with LucasArts, right?
Correct. Yeah, because after this one, LucasArts kind of dropped the ball on the whole thing, and it didn't sell well, which is extremely unfortunate considering it's fantastic. I mean, production, the voice acting, and
it looks amazing. It looks like an incredible story.
I'm glad you brought this up because I really want to
game.
play this, and I haven't thought about it. But since you brought it up, it really just
Is this
reminded
still
me that I
available for
haven't
sale
played
anywhere?
this.
It was. It isn't any longer. Actually, at one point in time, LucasArts had gone back and re-released all of their classics, and I was able to pick it up again. But it looks like the store is taking it away to now they're selling junk and whatnot.
Have any of you guys ever checked out goodoldgames.com where you can find a lot of this stuff?
No.
No, never
Wow, this is neat.
Yeah, this looks like a game I want to
Do you know
play.
when this was released? Do you remember that?
This was around 1998 as well, 1999.
Oh, a good year for games.
Yep.
It was, fantastic. Yeah, I believe it was 98 actually, but it was a fantastic story. Music was amazing, the character dialogue, everything like that. Now, I do want to throw in some honorable mentions. Now,
Are any of them going to be a console game?
Yeah, no kidding.
actually, GoldenEye I had on my list.
Oh,
I think
okay.
I brought it up, so. And Assassin's Creed and Mirror's Edge, which are both console games.
You like Mirror's Edge?
It wasn't a good game, but it gives me an idea of what it could be that be better. Just like Assassin's Creed 1 wasn't really a good game.
I agree with that.
But the second one, where they're going with it, you can see, hey, this is going to be
definitely
good.
improvements. Yeah.
But I noticed a severe lack of any. You brought up Microsoft Flight Simulator, but what about like Free Space?
Yeah,
Space 2?
I know. I went with Descent.
Crossing into territories I know nothing about.
Oh boy, Free Space was a game changer for space games for me.
Yeah, it was a truly amazing. And then the last one of the series or of the genre, Freelancer.
I never played Freelancer.
Where they introduced. You can still find that one. It's probably $20, $10, whatever. And it swapped out joystick for mouse controls, and it had a free open roaming world and an epic story. So it was probably the ultimate to end off on.
Wow,
very nice.
Did you guys ever play the Mech Warrior games?
A little bit, yeah.
Not
I played
much.
Fourth one, Mercenaries, competitively online.
That game was hard.
Yeah, no, it was epic, but it was a lot. Except for most of it turned down to either loading up on Gauze weapons or LBX 20s.
I remember those Gauss
Nerd talk.
rifles and stuff.
Basically shotguns and long range snipers. There you go. That's exactly what that game ended up boiling down to. But that's my list, my honorable mentions.
All right,
awesome.
man.
Yeah,
well,
dude.
Thank you very much for calling, dude.
All right. Have a good one, Herder.
Take it easy.
Peace.
All right. Well, so I think that's a pretty max size segment there on our top games, and we're gonna go into this further on, maybe down the road. At some point, we'll branch off. Into
Oh yeah, we'll have a very other top 5 list coming
Very
down.
other top 5 list.
We're gonna keep going, and then
Very varied top 5.
and then we're gonna have to. I think we're gonna have to do a year in review 2010 too. At the end of the
Definitely.
year.
Supposed to be.
All right.
Oh yeah, Red Dead Redemption got delayed until May.
I know it's a bummer. You're looking forward to that, aren't you?
Really looking forward to it.
We're gonna talk about that game, aren't we?
Yes,
Yeah.
most definitely.
All right, guys. Well, if you guys would like to give us feedback out there, you can do so over at JupiterColony.com. Head over to Jupiter Colony and then look right in there for Legend of the Stoned Owl. This show comes out every other Sunday over at JupiterBroadcasting.com. And in the show post, you can find the feeds if you just want to subscribe and automatically get it when it's released. In the meantime, if you want to email us, you can do so at stonedowl@JupiterBroadcasting.com. But I think that just about wraps up this episode, right, guys?
I think that'll do it.
Anything else before we go? No?
No?
All right, everybody. Well, thanks so much for tuning into this episode, and
Thank
we'll see
you.
you in a fortnight.
Bye.
Later.
Thanks for listening to Legend of the Stoned Owl.
Legend of the Stoned Owl is produced over at JupiterBroadcasting.com. That's where you can find the show, subscribe, all those good things, leave us feedback, and also where you'll find us every 2 weeks. Thanks for listening to this episode. We'll see you in a fortnight.